Folks, welcome back. Ah! My name is Rudy. You're watching Timmy's Emporium. How are you all doing today? Today we have a follow-up in the world of Magic Bronze Era, the greatest modern Magic buyout bull market cycle we've seen in the Bronze Era history. So today we're doing a follow-up. Got my fancy little notes here. And we're going to be talking about Shadows over Innistrad, Aether Revolt, and we're going to touch on the Pokemon Surging Sparks updates. So first things first, yes, if you've been living under a little tiny rock, you may not be aware, we are in the middle of the largest, not reserve list buyout, the largest money flowing into buyouts, but this time in this market cycle, it is Bronze Era Magic sealed product. Nobody's buying out the single cards. The single cards aren't going up because it's whack-a-mole for non-reserve list Wizards of the Coast management. Did something go up in value? Oh, we can't have that. The Game Piece Army will get mad on social media. So today, obviously we're going to do a follow-up. Obviously, Kaladesh has retraced all the way back down and collapsed from $1,000 to $650 to $700. Oh, wait, a month ago it was $300. It's still up 100% in 3 weeks. Well, it's collapsed from 1,000. You got to make it dramatic. We need people to go, oh God! So, a lot of people are speculating if Kaladesh does that, what about Aether Revolt? So today we're seeing an update in Aether Revolt. We have Aether Revolt booster boxes, which are averaging about $130 to $160 a box for the last 3 years. 4 years. Aether Revolt has now doubled in price to about $300 a box. But, I know you like curves. I know you like but. Highest sold listing for Aether Revolt is still around $200. So we have a spike up to almost $300 on Aether, but we only have buyers and sold listings at around $200 a box right now. But but here's the next thing. It really shows how much is out there, because when you see these spikes, everyone is yelling, hurry up and sell into the hype! It's fun to watch how many people are lured out. How many boxes will show up on the market when we have these spikes? And to my surprise, it's been really bad performance. Like, Rudy performance in the bedroom, it's been like, dude, that's all you got? Hey man, what do you expect? I don't have much hair left. 11 boxes of Aether Revolt on TCG Player. Like, 9 boxes on eBay. And some of these are probably the same seller on both platforms. So what, 20 boxes? Again, when prices spike, it's supposed to say, oh wow, all the closet investors that have been hoarding these things for 10 years are supposed to say, oh, time to sell. Where's the supply? So that's been interesting. Let's jump to the second thing, everybody. Shadows over Innistrad. Obviously, we know Eldritch Moon to the moon. Shadows of Innistrad, the first set of this 2-set block, spiked all the way from about 120s to 130s up to about $250 a box. So Shadows of Innistrad, once again, the last 30 days has gone up 100%. It has been a full doubling of your money in 30 days if you had predicted and known this was going. Now, unlike Aether Revolt, Shadows of Innistrad actually has sold listings of booster boxes, English boxes, at $250. Actually sold listings at $230s, $240s, and $250s. And again, even with the price spike, only 9 boxes were added to TCG Player and listed for sale. Like, the supply of these things is so dreadful. That's why we're, okay. So, before we go much further, so the difference between the Shadows of Innistrad spike and the Aether Revolt is pretty much Aether has an actual sold listing at $200 instead of $300. Shadows actually has sold listings at the full price that it's spiking up to. But before, let's stop right there, everybody. It's important to know a couple things that are being shadowed right now. Number one, the internet police and Game Piece Army always said sealed magic and everything was dead and all this stuff. And in the defense of the people who are uneducated, they've been right for a long time because Magic hasn't performed. It's, as everyone says, you should have just bought Pokemon. And those voices on the internet are spot on right. You should have just bought Pokemon. You would have 10x your money, right? So the second part of the story is, now that we're seeing a monstrous, like, instead of reserve list buyout era, it's sealed box buyout era time. Where's all the boxes? Like, it should be very easy for you to say, hey, Rudy, no one's gonna, these prices aren't going to hold. Shadows of Innistrad, that's going to go back to $100 a box. Nobody really wants that. All the cards in the set are almost worthless. They're all reprinted to oblivion. They're game pieces. It's all shit, right? So don't buy it. If you have these boxes, just sell into the hype, right? Okay, well, we need a couple things to push Shadows of Innistrad back to 100 a box. We need a couple variables to push Aether Revolt back to 150 a box or 130. Okay, you need two main components. Okay, you need nobody willing to buy the boxes. That's the first thing. If you have no bids or buyers, essentially the ask price, the sellers, are going to keep undercutting each other as boxes come to market, and you kind of have that kind of cutting, falling knife situation until it hits a point where buyers say, well, for that price, I'll buy it. Right? That's number one. That's the first component. Number two, you have to have people listing a bunch more boxes. If we don't have a bunch of people listing sealed boxes, there's not going to be an increase of supply to put downward pressure. We have to have these two components. Even with limited demand, and everybody keeps undercutting each other, without part two, the component number two, it's like balls. You got to have two, okay? Without the second component, you can't have, the first one doesn't mean much. Without the second component of people listing more boxes, we can't have a crash back down to the previous lows. And I'm telling you all, over and over, you can bash Rudy all you want. It's a cool thing to do. Make sure you put on social media and Facebooks and MySpace and Reddits and Discords, please, and link my channel to help me advertise how much you don't like me, because you're my marketing department. Where are the boxes? I cannot believe, with like Aether Revolt at 300 as an asking price, Shadows at 250, and even then, and even Kaladesh back to 600 to 700. Like, there's like what, 20 boxes for sale? Where's all the boxes that everybody said was printed to oblivion? That is the more complex, confusing component of what's going on. Without, see, the internet told us, and the internet's always right because it's filled with highly educated people that just smash their keyboards all day without jobs, and they're angry and they want everything to go to zero. These individuals all over the internet and that post online that for some reason half of you all listen to are telling us that there's so much of this overprinted junk in closets and the cards have no value. How can these boxes go up? Then, okay, listen to these voices. List your boxes, everybody. If there are thousands and tens of thousands of all this dead product, list them online, cash in on doubling and tripling your money, and walk away. Where the fuck's the supply? Everybody said this stuff was overdone, and if the day ever came that it went up in value, all the closet investors would just dump. It's here. I'm waiting. Like, how are these prices skyrocketing? Like, look, if you go online, let's go to Pokemon. You go online and you say, holy hell, Fusion Strike, Rudy, from a couple years ago. It's almost $400 a box for Sword and Shield Fusion Strike. I remember you had tried selling that to your patrons for $100. Everybody did back then. Everybody's just stupid. And, but even then, when Fusion Strike skyrockets, there's still plenty of supply that shows up on the market for people to lock in their money at 400% returns. Look at Surging Sparks in Pokemon, the newest booster box. $220 plus tax. $233.69 for the average Timmy online. $233 shipped. And the kicker, Surging Sparks is still selling 100, 200 boxes a day on eBay, TCG Player combined. That's unbelievable. At $233.69 shipped. But the second component that's unbelievable is every day over 100 boxes of Surging Spark are selling. Where are the boxes coming from? Is it really just people who bought 100 flipping to 150 and the people who bought 150 now are flipping to 230? Because these boxes are just churning and they're selling like crazy. And every time the price keeps going higher, more supply of Surging Sparks hits the market. That is the number one difference between Pokemon and Magic right now. Pokemon skyrockets and performs better. Data's the data. Doesn't matter how anyone feels about it. Number two, Magic is finally going up, but there's no supply. If I go back right now to any Sword and Shield era box from 2019, let's say, I don't know, or maybe an XY era box, or maybe actually we go far enough, or or if we go Sun and Moon, maybe we have to go further back, and the supply gets less, but there's still more. These Magic boxes, where are the boxes? Everybody said Magic was dead because it was printed to oblivion. Everybody said they never go up, and it's all a flawed thing, and Wizards destroyed it all, which I kind of agree. But now that it's happening, and nobody thought it would, where's all the supply? It's supposed to draw out the supply, hiding in people's basements in their left nut. Why is nothing coming out? Nothing's coming out? Giggity. Nothing's coming out. Why is that? How on earth is even Kaladesh $600-700 a box? And there's still, is there even 30 boxes listed? What, 15 boxes are listed? What is that? 2 cases? Like, we're talking numbers that are so low. Like, that's why I'm trying to explain to you all. If you believe this is a bubble, and you think all this stuff's going to, if Kaladesh is going back to 300, Shadows is going back to 110, Aether is going back to 130, then for love of all that is goodness gracious waffle fries, list your boxes, lock in the profit now, just like Bitcoin. You think Bitcoin's going to 1,000 a coin? Sell it all now for 95, 98, whatever it is today, and buy it back when it tanks. If you think you can time the market and you got some magical thing, I honestly, I'm rooting for you. I'll fist pump for you because I'm not seeing the data that shows anyone could predict this happen, and I'm not seeing the data that everybody has thousands and tens of tens of thousands of these boxes are sitting around because there is zero evidence for it. And this is the time that it kind of proves who's right or wrong. And right now, the market for Bronze Era continues to go on fire, and it looks like it's going to stay this way for a while because I am very behind. We haven't even covered Theros, Born of the Gods, Journey in the Nyx, Conspiracy 1, Conspiracy 2, some of the master sets. There are so many products we haven't even covered because I can't keep up. There is so many things skyrocketing, and there's just nothing for sale. Where are all the boxes?